Yeah, it's never really works out well when you try to escape from prison. I guess some people do get out and stay away, but I can't imagine that being an enjoyable life. But I guess when you compare it to being locked away, maybe it is. I just think I'd always be looking over my shoulder everywhere I went, more than I already do. And I think everyone was like an undercover cop, like the bag boy at the Whole Foods or something. Like, are you a cop? No, I just know how to stack your groceries like Tetris, but I'm not a cop. But this is a story of that. This one takes place. Michigan Attorney General's office announced on June 30th that a man wanted for murder charges who had managed to escape from custody had been apprehended in Lincoln County, Montana. The suspect, identified as 42-year-old Chadwick Shane Mobley, was being transported back to Michigan, facing charges linked to a decade-old murder case. The case was reignited in 2022 after new DNA evidence allegedly linked Mobley to a fatal shooting of Andrea Eilber in 2011. The murder of Andrea, who was found dead with a gunshot wound to the head at a relative's residence in Lapeer, Michigan, has been a long-standing case on the books. Despite the initial discovery of DNA evidence at the scene, the case went cold. The testing did not produce any results. However, investigators revisited the evidence in 2022, leading to Mobley. The charges brought against him include first-degree murder, felony murder, and felony firearm. So this saga took an unexpected turn on July 9th as Mobley was being transported back to Michigan by U.S. Marshals. At the top of the Plains Town Pump gas station in Montana, resulted in an audacious escape attempt. In a shocking lapse of security, Mobley somehow managed to free himself from his handcuffs and ankle shackles and disappeared from the area.
Now, wait a second. Okay, I've seen Con Air a gazillion times. I was going to say, he should have had handcuffs on and shackles. How do you get out of that?
That's what I'd love to know. I think that's a question for the U.S. Marshals who were transporting him back. Did he have them on? I guess would be my first question. I would think. I don't know any reason why they wouldn't put them on him. And do they ever take them off him, I guess would be the next question. Like for a bathroom break or something at the gas station, do you take that off and you just kind of walk him there and okay, go do your thing and come back? I don't know. The escape prompted an immediate alert from the Sanders County Sheriff's Office, warning local residents to secure their homes and vehicles to keep a vigilant eye out for Mobley. The alert marked the beginning of a near 32-hour manhunt. Relief arrived after on July 10th, when around at 6:08 p.m., Mobley was finally located and apprehended by the Sanders County Sheriff's Office and the Plains Police Department. Following the security lapse, officials in Sanders County announced that they would not be using a third-party service for Mobley's transport back to Michigan. Good idea.
Oh.
Interesting. However, the capture of Mobley is only one facet of the ongoing drama. Officials are also engaging in an extensive search for Michael Burham, another inmate who made a daring escape from the Warren County Prison in Pennsylvania. Burham, who was in custody on charges of arson and burglary, is also a person of interest in a separate homicide case. Further escalating the seriousness of his escape, Burham is accused of carjacking and kidnapping a couple in a desperate bid to evade capture. According to the Erie Times News, Burham managed to escape by scaling the prison roof using a pull-up machine and into the prison yard, and then employing sheets tied together to descend the prison walls. Pennsylvania State Police Lieutenant Colonel George Bivens added to the chilling narrative, describing Burham as a self-taught survivalist with military training and very dangerous. As the search for Burham continues, officials believe that he may be receiving outside assistance. Authorities have reportedly discovered small stockpiles or campsites in the surrounding wooded areas containing supplies which would assist him with a prolonged stay in the wilderness. A separate yet interconnected stories of Mobley and Burham present that sobering view of the ongoing battles in the fight for justice. As authorities continue to close in on Burham, there's hopes that very soon they'll find him and then justice can be served. That would be creepy as hell to be in an area where the convict escaped. There's been many stories of that sort of thing happening, and then them sometimes going into local residents to hide out while taking the lives of local residents as they hide out. It's a scary thing to think about.
It is. And this guy who is a self-taught survivalist with military training, he could be anywhere, especially if maybe he was in the Marines. Who knows what his ability is to survive. He could be living in a bunker that he built himself.
Let's take a trip back in time here. Do you remember Laurencia Bambenek?
It rings a bell.
This was a woman who was accused of, what was her crime? She was a former police officer convicted in 1981 in the murder of her husband's ex-wife. She was housed at a prison that was about 2 miles from my house, a maximum security women's prison. My uncle was actually a guard there. And she escaped because I'll tell you what, those prison walls, if you will, or the basic fencing that was around it was a joke. It was like really a joke. It was like there are safe places where you store your goods, storage lockers that had more security around them than this prison did. There were giant gaps in the bottom of the fence into the ditch below because of years of runoff and erosion. So you could easily get out that way. There's plenty of places where the barbed wire was broken on the fence. This prison
that's comforting.
It was like 100 years old too. I mean, it was, it looked, it's a very kind of creepy old looking building. It was 100% a women's prison, but Bambenek escaped out not too far from where my parents lived, and they didn't know where she was at for a while. They did find her, and eventually she was acquitted of the crime. Yeah, but she ended up dying at age 52 in 2010. But she got a handful of years out there of freedom that she deserved because she did not commit that crime. But she was committed to getting out. There's like a made-for-TV movie about it back in the day. I remember watching and going.
Was this the chick who was like Miss something? She was like I don't know if it was Miss America or some.
I don't think so.
Wasn't she a model or something?
Playboy Bunny.
Ah, okay. Well, there you go.
Turned cop accused of murder. I didn't realize she was a Playboy Bunny. Well, I guess that's something that they wouldn't necessarily talk about. My parents wouldn't discuss that.
Oh, gotcha.
Hey.
Yeah, this was a Wisconsin thing. It was Lake Geneva, if I remember correctly.
Where the crime took place?
I think where she was from is what I'm remembering.
Yeah, because she was housed in Cheetah Correctional Institution, which is right by where I grew up. And yeah, so very interesting. I didn't know she was in Playboy. Huh. Now my morbid curiosity wants to like Google that. What are you looking at, honey? Dead woman who was accused of murder years ago who escaped from the prison near my parents' house. That's why there's boobs on the screen. That's why there's boobs on the screen.
Oh, yeah. Woman on the Run, starring Tatum O'Neal.
Oh, that was the made-for-TV movie?
Yes, it was. There you go. Good memory.
Well,
Calendar Girl, Cop Killer.
Interesting. There you go. That's the so she would have been in it like in the 70s, I'm guessing.
That's what it sounds like, yeah.
Would have been, yeah. How interesting. Well, there you go. People on the run, one caught, one not. We'll keep our eye, and hopefully the next one also ends up caught.
You're locked into the Hidden Killers podcast.
Want more? Start binging on all of our true crime podcasts right now through Apple Podcasts and get an ad-free experience when you sign up to be a True Crime Today Premium Plus member exclusively on Apple Podcasts.
More of the Hidden Killers podcast dropping soon.
Press subscribe now.